This summer I'm planning on doing my first Olympic distance triathlon. So there's a lot of information out there giving tips and tricks from going from a sprint distance to Olympic distance. And I really want to test out these tips, so today I'm going to go through them and I'll be able to test them out in the next few weeks and months leading up to my first Olympic distance triathlon. So the first thing that I've heard and that I've read is that you're going to want to do a lot more cycling. Since you're going from a 20k bike to a 40k bike, you want to get more time in the saddle and get used to being in your aero bars and in an aero position for a longer period of time. Personally, I'm pretty interested in trying this since I haven't spent super long periods of time in the aero bars. I have been trying to get more time in just to get used to the bike, and I think I'm going to continue doing this even outside of my regular training hours just to get more time in the saddle and get used to riding the bike for longer periods of time. Something that's very different from the sprint distance is in the Olympic distance you're going to want to have some sort of nutrition on the bike and maybe even during the run. So I'm definitely going to have to figure out what type of nutrition, if I want to have gels or bars or whatever, and test out a few different kinds to make sure that whatever I try will actually work well for me, not going to make me puke or anything, and actually help me out. Another thing that I've heard is that you're going to want to work on the sport that you're the weakest at. So for me that would be swimming. So I'm planning on going to all my training and maybe doing some extra swimming in the meantime, since the swim is double, of course, of the sprint distance. So this is something I definitely need to work on leading up to doing an Olympic distance triathlon for the first time. And the last thing I definitely have to work on is pacing. There's obviously a very different pacing in a sprint distance and Olympic. Everything is a lot longer, you're going to be going slower. So I'm going to have to definitely figure that out and probably do a few different practice runs and try to make sure that I'm not going to be going too fast or too slow, and make sure I have a good race. So if you guys know anything else that I should try or that is different in a sprint and Olympic, leave it down below. I'd love to hear it. Obviously, I've never done this before. I'm really excited to try these different tips and see what works for me and share all that information with you guys. Be sure to like and subscribe as always to see my upcoming videos and join the TTG Army.